Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series following Odysseus of Crete. And you will doubtlessly remember that in the last episode, we had finally accomplished one of our long-term goals for this entire playthrough in the series that started with Son of Ares, which was to reform the Hellenistic faith. And we did accomplish that. It took a couple generations here, but we did succeed in our goal. Now, you already got to see all the changes that we made to the religion, and a lot of those changes are going to provide us some significant benefits. There are some downsides, though. One of the downsides is that we did lose access to the incredibly powerful and almost overpowered CB that we had that allowed us to do these wars just kind of freely, county wars and duchy wars against our enemies. Well, we can no longer do that. As you can see, we don't have any current casus belli against the Egyptians here. We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, which I am fine with. Once we get some conversion done, we will be able to send our high priest here to deal with that. You'll notice that we have changed the name of the high priesthood here to the cult of Kyrios, and Kyrios is a name that the Greeks, according to my research, that the Greeks used in reference to both Jesus and the Abrahamic God. So obviously we're using it, perhaps a little bit of both here in this case, but this is kind of the main cult in the new Hellenic religion. Obviously, in our lore that we were kind of coming up with, Zeus was usurped by his powerful son here, who we associate with the Abrahamic God. And that has kind of led us to have this Christian syncretism that we now have with our faith. So we'll still be able to wage these wars, and it's not really going to provide us that much difficulty. We'll just have to fabricate claims like anybody else who is feudal would, which is completely fine. We also don't have access to raiding, and I'm fine with that because I don't like raiding. I find it to be very tedious. It is very good for getting money, but when you're playing a roleplay game like this and with the narration, making videos of it, the raiding is just kind of tedious, and I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I wish it could be more automated, but it is what it is. So I'm not sad about that. We are making plenty of money. We're making 10.3 per month here, and that's with a minus 15% because of our improvident trait. So, it's not that bad. We're still making good money, and we're developing Alexandria like crazy. I have spent a little bit of money to develop our berry groves and to build a trade port over here. That's going to help us increase our development in Alexandria, which is going to help skyrocket it to be one of the highest development counties, essentially anywhere outside of, Constantinople, Rome, or Cortuba. So we're easily going to skyrocket ourselves here pretty quickly, I think, because of our character traits and just all of these other bonuses. We still have a little bit of money off and a bunch of bonuses here from these improved pastures. We got that for another 10 years. So that is pretty good indeed. So things are going well. But yeah, we did lose a bit of stuff by reforming the faith, but I think that we are going to gain some pretty significant advantages. Like just having the ancestor worship here, like that's a pretty decent one. The long reign opinion bonus plus 50%. That's going to make our realm a lot more stable. Christian syncretism, that's going to have some huge bonuses that I'm going to show you how we're going to use right away. We also have the head of faith, which we can get money from eventually. And we, let's see, and we are also righteous. So you can see switching over from pluralistic to righteous has allowed us, look, it used to take like 88 years to convert a foreign county of a different culture. Now it's going to take 4. We're going to be able to convert our entire kingdom into the new Hellenic faith extremely quickly. I mean, obviously it helps that Our high priestess here has extremely high learning, but we're still going to be able to do a lot of conversion very quickly, which is going to provide even more bonuses. So things are going pretty well in that regard. So how are we going to use the Christian syncretism to our advantage? Well, I'm going to show you. And if you are, new to Crusader Kings 3 and you've normally played it kind of like the war type game, which is something that we often do here on the channel, conquering, spreading. I like to paint the map, but there are other ways of playing intrigue and playing tall through money and things like that. But you can also play the marriage game, and the marriage game can be incredibly powerful. And I'm going to give an example of that right here. So now that we have Christian syncretism, we can arrange marriages with the various Christian people all across Europe, which gives a lot of options. But more importantly, it gives us options to get marriages with people within the empire. We could not do that before. Now we can. Well, what are we going to do with that? You'll notice that Basileus Porphyrios has no children, and his wife is quite old at this point, 38 years old, and she does not really have any particular interest in her husband in that regard. So it's highly unlikely that they are going to have any children, which is going to mean that the throne will probably pass to the Basileus's brother here, Prince Aristarchus. Well, Prince Aristarchus has a lot of children, but his eldest son here is Akakios Macedon here. You'll notice that Akakios has 2 daughters, and he's not landed or anything like that. So his daughters are not in line to inherit anything. Well, what happens if we go here and look to arrange a marriage, perhaps between his eldest daughter and our son and heir, Prince Ptolemy? Well, he would obviously accept. We can even arrange a grand wedding, which we probably will in this case. So how does this all work? Well, obviously, Prince Aristarchus has a good chance of inheriting from his brother, Prince Porphyrios, due to the fact that Porphyrios may not have any children. He might still, if his wife dies and he gets a new one, he could still potentially have some children. But if Prince Aristarchus inherits, well, then that means that his son, Akakios here, could eventually become emperor. Well, Akakios here, as you can see, is not really that interested in his wife either, and his wife is already 35 years old. So it's a very good chance that they are not going to have any children either, which means that if Akakios takes the throne, then his daughter, Pelagia, will become the empress of the Byzantine Empire. And she will be in a marriage with our son, Prince Ptolemy. And that will mean that obviously any children of theirs will be of the Argeas dynasty and will be our character that we will inherit after we play as Ptolemy. So, as you can see, we've already set ourselves up to have a very good chance, not 100% chance, not a guarantee. There's a lot of factors that could stop that from happening, but a pretty decent chance of inheriting the entire Byzantine Empire without having to go to war or do a rebellion or anything like that, simply through the marriage of Pelagia to our son Ptolemy. So that is how we are going to use the marriage game to our advantage. And if that doesn't work out, then we still get a marriage into the Macedon family, and we still have those ties in there, so we can use that to our advantage, presumably later. So this is pretty effective and has given us a huge boon to our potential power here within the empire. So looks like our nephew here was ousted from his position in favor of his sister, Duchess Epiphania. That's fine. She is a child of a concubine, but we'll see what happens here. She might get a rebellion here. It's just the Scleros, those horrible, dastardly, evil, just downright terrible scum of the earth, House Scleros, that just continues to cause trouble. But there's not really that much we can do about it for now. In any case, they're going to lose the duchy claim here, probably within the next generation. So we shall simply have to wait until then. So now that we can't raid, now that we can't just indiscriminately do wars against everybody, which honestly was kind of overpowered, what do we do in the meantime? Well, we develop and we prepare. So one thing I would like to do is read this event first. The latest work of my brother-in-law, Count Tryphon, has become all the rage at court. He's written a poem about me, that despot of Crete. What man does not hope to rest when tired, no matter his wealth and treasure acquired? 'Tis rare enough for men to admit that all they leave behind is shit. I don't know how I feel about this, particularly. It does not really seem like that nice of a poem, frankly. I think we're going to leave behind far more than shit. So we shall see here. Oh, sweet. There we go. Somebody wants to ransom the child, House of Drew. Here, the dynasty that rules in Italy. Do we have anybody else we can ransom? Let's see here. Would you hooks? No, they all just want hooks. I mean, we could send these people out. We could convert them and send them out if they are, advantageous to us. There are some characters here that could be. Who did you get married to here? Mayor of Abu Ghalib. Huh. Old Hellenic, but she's Cindy for some reason. I'm very curious there. We've got a lot of prisoners, but you know what? They're prisoners for a reason. We'll just leave them there. What do we have here? We are invited to Duke Symmachos' feast. I think that we will attend. I don't see why not. There's a little bit of ways to go here over to Amastis, but I think that's probably let's see there. We probably need to spend a little bit on a mountaineer. There we go. Just for the safety. That's not a lot of money to spend. And actually, you know what? I don't really want to join this feast because I have something else that I want to do. And what is that? I have a goal, a new goal, and that is to consecrate our bloodline. I think that this would be incredibly fitting considering the ancestor worship tenet that we have added to our religion and the fact that we have essentially deified our family or given them this mythology. You'll remember that the despot Alexandros was kind of a figure who was said to be the son of Ares when he was a young man, when he was taking Crete back from the evil emir Shuaib. Well, perhaps it has come that has developed into something of a little bit more of a literal sense. Perhaps it is said that despot Alexandros was a literal son of Ares, a demigod, and that our line is essentially descended from the gods themselves. This is something that would be incredibly common in a culture such as ours, and I think that is a large part of how we can continue to maintain such an esteemed position here within this new Hellenic religion. So we are literally descended from the gods, which means that consecrating our bloodline would be pretty ideal. All we have to do is get to religious icon. So we need to get a pretty decent amount, about 3,400 more piety here, but we certainly have a pretty good chance of doing so. So although I would like to do a grand tour at some point or host a grand tournament, I think it is more important to achieve our goals and consecrate the bloodline. So I'm going to go on a pilgrimage. We still have a couple places that we can go and do pilgrimage to, and I'm going to pick one that is pretty distant and is going to give us some really nice little bonuses here. We could probably even stop off in Palermo to gain a little bit of martial lifestyle experience. So why don't we actually do that? Let's customize the route. So as we are leaving Alexandria, we will stop here in Palermo there. We could probably stop in Kairouan, but We're probably going to do another pilgrimage to Carthage later on. Looks like we should get a couple things here from stopping in Vaticano as well. So there's nowhere that we really need to stop on the way off. We're probably going to be able to hit these two up in the next time we need to go to visit the Emperor. So that should be pretty good. There is a little bit of danger here, probably sea danger. So that takes care of that by hiring a ship captain. It's going to cost us about 266, which is fine. We're going to go for zealotry so we can maximize the amount of piety that we gain from this. And do we need to... we could go for contemplative. That will increase the amount of time that it's going to take, but that is probably pretty fine. But we can't increase the pomp by anything, so... This looks pretty good to me, 266. We're making good money, so I'm not too worried about that at all. The pilgrimage is prepared, and we shall head out. Now, we don't really have anything that we need to do in the meantime, so we're just probably going to let this event and the pilgrimage play out here. So not a day goes by in Al-Hammam when I don't run into a fisherman who has a new piece of information to give me, whether it be on the type of bait to use, where to fish, or even how to prepare the fish once they are caught. I even get a chance to fish myself with the fishermen showing me tips and tricks. They all applaud when I finally catch one. We are a man of the people. You'll notice that we have changed our looks. The beard is back. I mean, we are 30 years old. It's about time. You know, and we're dressing a little bit more regally. I liked the outfit we had before. Thought it looked pretty cool. But now that we're a little bit older, I think that this is far more fitting. And we are a religious icon, so we want to look a little bit more religious, shall we say. Let's see here. Oh, interesting. What if we applied these fishing tactics to seafaring? Fishing logistics here. This character knows how to do naval logistics. That's going to increase our naval speed and coastal sea danger. Oh, that's not too bad. Or we could reduce the cost of establishing dexterous fishermen. Yeah, I don't know if this would be super helpful because we're not the head of our Greek culture. So I'm going to take the second option here. I know that there is a lot of discussion about potentially diverging our culture or hybridizing our culture. And I do want to do that, but I don't know if we're going to do that with our current character. And I'm not sure which one we are going to do. We could hybridize with the Egyptians. And, you know, as some people have pointed out, this Egyptian culture is not necessarily 100% indicative of the early Egyptian culture, the one that, you know, would have worshipped the Egyptian gods in that pantheon. It does have a connection to the Arabic people who came in and conquered Egyptians after this area fell from the hands of the Eastern Roman Empire. But as far as I can tell, the Egyptian culture here is supposed to be kind of a mismatch of those. So the Arabic lords who came in and took over, obviously they were the ruling elite. So you see here, it's got the Arabic heritage and the Arabic language. But I do think that this is also meant to represent the native Egyptian people who also still existed within these lands. You'll see there's no other culture that really is meant to represent that, and Crusader Kings 3 has a pretty simplified view of culture. So I think if we did hybridize with the Egyptian culture here, it would be essentially taking on some of the elements of that Egyptian culture that has existed here for thousands of years. And, you know, perhaps there would be some Arabic influence there, but obviously we have some extremely powerful and influential Arabic neighbors, which would have an influence on things as well. So although we are frequently clashing with them, we are also attempting to integrate to a greater degree into this Egyptian land here. So, like I said, I haven't decided whether we're going to diverge our culture or form a hybrid. I like forming hybrids. It would be pretty cool. Somebody did ask if we would need to take either the Arabic or the Arabic language or the Arabic heritage. But as far as I can tell, because we start off with the bureaucratic ethos, if we switch over to spiritual, we can keep the Byzantine heritage and we can keep the Greek language, and we just change over our ethos to spiritual, which I think would still make a lot of sense. And we don't need to switch over to have Arabic heritage or Arabic language, which I don't think would really make sense for what we're going for here. So, but this I think would be something that would make sense. Like I said, it's not something that we're planning to do soon, and it's not something we would possibly be able to do soon. We could diverge our culture, but the fact is, I don't think that we are. I don't think we're that different than the rest of the Greek world at this moment. There obviously are some differences, but I think those differences are mainly in the religion right now. And for the most part, we are fully integrated with the Greek people. We have strong ties to the emperor and to the empire itself. We are essentially, looking to, the ancient Greek gods as, the heads of our pantheon here, with the new edition. But yeah, I think we are still pretty Greek. So we may create a Ptolemaic culture here in Egypt in the future, but I haven't decided exactly how that is all gonna go just yet. So that'll probably be something that'll happen later, maybe with this character, but maybe with our next character who is being raised as a diplomat. I think that would make a lot of sense for that type of character, and he might even get some bonuses towards doing that. So we shall see how it all plays out. We're making a little bit of money here while we go on this pilgrimage, which is nice. And we are going to save up that money so that we can potentially build a duchy building here once we've converted the culture of Alexandria over to Greek. Pilgrimage, the Flaming Hellene. The sea storm catches us completely off guard as the lightning-riven sky starts pelting us with rain. And with a sudden thunderous flash, the mastheads burst forth with blue flame, engulfing the vessel in an ethereal light. This is a sign, my panicked courtier, Methodios cries, clutching the rigging for dear life and barely audible above the thrashing sails. We must turn back before it is too late. The Thunderer guides us, praise be. Indeed, I think that 50% chance a random who's on our pilgrimage. Oh, that could actually be quite dangerous here. Atticus is here. Oof, Ptolemy is here. Prince Apollonios is here. Okay, that could be dangerous, but turn back, you fools. The voyage is delayed by 3 months. Oh, I don't know what to choose here. Possible outcomes? Let's see. You know what? The Thunderer guides us. Praise be. Oh dear. Atticus fell overboard. Atticus was a constant companion and confidant, and to have him ripped from my life feels like a mortal wound from which I may never recover. My hand clasps a note he gave me, the last note he will ever give me, I realize bitterly. I try to read it, but all I can do is to move it away from my face. That precious words contained within it are not washed away by my tears. Though there is a crowd of many mourners around me, I've never felt so alone. Perhaps this is a bit of revenge from Zeus for ousting him from his position in the pantheon. He may be angry at us, but we shall have faith in and trust in Kyrios and in what we have done here. So we can gain ongoing heartache for 30 years. We'll gain some stress, or we could become Melancholy, oh, 30% chance of another critical stress break here. Or we could fall into depression. Oh, I'm gonna do it. Oh, we experience some level of catharsis. So our friend here, Atticus Leonidas, has unfortunately passed away. This is one of our important characters and a friend of ours who has been with us since the beginning of the campaign. Luckily, he did have a daughter here, Adrienne Leonidas here. And I think it would only do to honor somebody who was such a dear friend of ours by arranging a marriage here, perhaps even with one of our children. You know, I would not be necessarily opposed to this. Or, what about this guy? This guy has a claim. This random kid here has a claim on the Wahhabite Emirate. Where is the Wahhabite Emirate? Where are you? Way over here. But, you know, that is a claim that we could potentially press here. There's also Zacharias Costimires. Let's see. You know what? I think that it would be pretty fitting if the House of Leonidas can continue on. So we're going to actually get you a matrilineal marriage here with this young man here, and then potentially we are going to push those claims. So although our dear friend Atticus is unfortunately dead, he will live on, and his dynasty will live on through his daughter, and the Leonidas house will continue. So we're going to do right by our friend, but that is unfortunate there. So, but you know, characters do eventually die in this game, so it was an unfortunate event, but it was, I suppose, the wrath of the gods, Zeus getting his final revenge on us, hopefully his final revenge on us for what we have done here. Well, we shall hope that things go a little bit better in the future here. So, luckily, the death was that I would have been choked if Ptolemy had died there. We would have taken over then as Prince Hippatios, who is a genius, but unfortunately craven and impatient. Whereas his brother's a little bit better. He has got the patient trait here, so that is not the worst trait that a character can get. We do have our children learning languages as well, so recently I feel like I am not worthy of the despotate of Crete. Do other rulers doubt themselves as I do? I try to be a good, cautious despot, but I can't predict everything. There are always more traitors to find, more plotters hiding in secret rooms. Our paranoia is coming up. Other courts never seem to have this much treason, and I can only blame myself for inspiring it. Damn this universe for raising one so poor as me to such heights. Charity makes a person. Oh, that's so much money. I need to be alone to think this. We could become reclusive. We often sequester ourselves away and neglect our responsibilities. You know, I think that perhaps we do become reclusive, thinking more, we don't really want to necessarily, we're not an outgoing character or anything like that. We're not necessarily diligent. I don't think we see any reason to, be out in the public eye all the time. There are surely other people who can do that. So we are going to become reclusive here. So the stress affecting our family as it often does. We have encountered many Hellenist pilgrims on our route thus far, and all have been pious and devoted to Zeus and Kyrios' will. However, we soon come into the company of a group of strange travelers from distant lands. They introduce themselves as old Hellenists and tell us that this route is sacred to their people too. You will notice that old Hellenism still does exist, and our sister-in-law, the Despotissa Nicarete, still worships the old Hellenic religion. She didn't necessarily buy into all of the changes to the faith made, and I think it's pretty cool that some old Hellenists who still hold Zeus as the highest of the Olympian gods still exists. So we're not going to do anything about this. The characters may naturally change if the fervor goes low enough, but I don't think it's ever going to go low enough. I don't see it ever going below 100%. So we will see. Perhaps the conversion will come later on. Only Hellenists may make this journey. The pilgrimage becomes more pious. Let's see here. Tell me how you worship Zeus. You gain a 50% chance for converting back to old Hellenism. I don't know about that, but only Hellenists may take this journey. Indeed. Oh, and we converted this woman to the new Hellenic faith. She indeed does become a new Hellenist here, so... And she's got high learning. That could be good. Crossing the hills of Palermo, we spot the banners of a small host emblazoned with the Ashari Shahada. They are ragged vagabonds preying on pilgrims headed to Vaticano. The leader swiftly blocks our route, rearing his horse and announcing himself as a Sikanelf. Halt, heathen, I keep the peace upon these paths, and you must pay like the rest. If you want my gold, come and take it. All right, we could fight him. We would gain a little bit of stress here. There's no need for violence. Let us talk. You know what? I think that there is no need for violence, and our words do ring true. There we go. We have visited Palermo, so we gained a little bit of martial lifestyle experience. Not too useful, but still could be a little bit helpful here. We have gained another dynasty legacy. What do we do with this? There's a couple options here. Glory, erudition, noble veins, perhaps. Noble veins is a good one, but I feel like it's so overdone. Traditional Argaeus weddings. I mean, should increase chance to generate a strong hook on lieges who like you. I'm actually going to take a quick look at all of these different ones just to see where I want to go with this for now. You know what? I think we're going to actually go down customs for a little bit. I would like to get to efficient interpreters. And yeah, I know that there's better ones. Like, you can just pick the best ones. Blood is obviously one of the best, but there's also some pretty decent other ones. And traditional Argaeus weddings, I think, would be pretty good. But considering our character, who we're playing, is literally an extreme polyglot. We don't even have all the languages that we can possibly learn. We should start to learn some more. But we already know a lot of languages, and learning the customs and languages of the people around us is obviously pretty important. So I am going to go with this one. That's going to help with some additional things here. So learn languages is going to be better. Minority vassal opinion is going to help. +1 additional language. Cultural acceptance. Just overall, we gain some decent bonuses, and if we can get to efficient interpreters, that would be pretty helpful. So we're kind of mixing and matching. I know it can help to go just straight to the end of one, but you know what? I'm not too concerned about that. We're getting some nice bonuses by the options that we're picking, so that's what we're going to do for now. Looks like we do have somebody with an inspiration. She wants to write a magnificent book. Are you skilled at it? She is considered a master. Oh, well then, in that case, if you're going to write a masterful book here, why not? I think that that would be quite fitting. Thank you for believing in me, my lord. My beneficiary, Adelinde, says she's a Catholic French woman. She is a poet, so she is pretty good at this. However, I'm not sure what to write about. Recently, I've been interested in topics related to medicine. Do you think that would be a good focus for the book? The book will be about stewardship. Let it be about the details of hunt and game. Okay. It will reflect the focus in my life. Stewardship, once again. I trust your judgment. I think that we could write a book about... you know what? A stewardship book would be good, because that can potentially be passed down to our children. And if they need a little bonus in their stewardship, then we can use that to assist them just a little bit here. That actually... Oh, you have something that belongs to me. Face me in a duel for it. And let the winner earn the right to it. A non-lethal single combat will commence. What does she want? It doesn't, where does it say? The victor will keep, what artifact do you want here? We could spend some prestige. I mean, we've got lots of prestige. I'm not gonna fight an ill woman who's my cousin over this. This is kind of a lame event here, but yeah, we're not gonna duel you. That doesn't seem appropriate, I don't think. You know, I'm sure you guys can probably agree with that. We do have some extra artifacts though, and I would like to potentially give them out perhaps to some of our children here. We come across the remnants of a trading caravan in Valitri. The arrow-ridden corpses of merchants, guards, and horses, overturned carriages, and ruined merchandise all point to this being some kind of attack by bandits. Anyway, such dangers on the road aren't unheard of. After we bury the dead, my traveling companions and I debate on what should be done with the merchandise which the bandits did not carry off with them. Salvaging these items could be quite lucrative, though it will take some time. We'll split the goods among ourselves. I'll take the lion's share as my right. We shouldn't steal from the dead, or we could give it to the Pope. We shouldn't steal from these dead. Indeed, we should not steal from the dead. We will respect the dead. That's how you earn the favor of the gods. Respect the dead. Respecting the dead was something very important in Hellenic culture, if I remember correctly. At a distance, the city of Roma is a forest of towers and a maze of stone buildings. As we approach, the scenery shifts. Ruins of monuments, walls, and ancient churches coexist with farms and grazing animals. On my way through the city, I notice how ruins have been carefully fortified by feuding houses. In this fashion, Hadrian's mausoleum and even the Colosseum are now fortresses. Let's learn what we can here. Okay. Oh, we could gain the flexible truces perk. Shorter truces and no prestige penalty for breaking them. 0% chance, actually, of that. But we are reclusive. Let us study these remarkable buildings. I will not waste my time with this place. Do we study the buildings? We could gain some stress, but we could gain lessons on city planning, which is not too bad. Let's try it. I gain great insights from my stay in Roma. Very good. Whew. I am finally here, body and soul, at the great temple of Vaticano. As the flamen offer me blessings, I reflect on everything that had to happen for the gods to bring me here. I've walked the holy path. Indeed, we have. We've reduced our stress level, which is very nice. We've bonded with our son over this shared spiritual journey. We've haggled in the markets of Vaticano and gained stewardship lifestyle experience. So there we go. And we have been granted the Duchy of Spoleto by the Emperor. So thank you, Emperor. I greatly appreciate that. So let's see what events here. The Duchy of Spoleto. Where even is that? That's probably right here. Indeed it is. Do we give that out to one of our vassals here? Perhaps Count Gregoras? He seems like a good man, so let's grant you a title here. You can have the Duchy of Spoleto. We can't hold on to all of these duchy titles, so we're going to give that to you there. So we got a couple more. And he is a good... Oh, he's Old Hellenic. You should probably convert here. But there we go. Tigran, my cousin-in-law. My cousin-in-law? Tigran Hassan Jalailan. I guess he's married to... Yeah, okay. Distant cousin-in-law here. He peers out over the whole sprawling holy site of Roma as we make our way through the crowd. Roma is truly a sight to behold, a place where cultures meet and faiths come together to worship. Are we not blessed to get to experience such familiarity and companionship? He looks at me expectantly. I know. Let us enjoy this. The Greek culture... Oh, we can't choose that because we have xenophilic. The feats spirituality can achieve. Our pilgrimage becomes more pious and we gain a little bit of extra piety. Perfect. Perfect, because we want a lot of piety. There we go. Some alliteration there for you. And he has decided to follow... There we go. Blessed be by Kyrios here. So, that is good. He has converted to the new version of Hellenism. Inspiration, stewardship topics. My beneficiary, Adelind, approaches me with her arms full of scrolls and manuscripts. My lord, there are so many areas of stewardship that are worthy of attention. Laws, trade, money. I don't even know where to start. Focus on matters related to ruling the realm. I'm always interested in development. Indeed, we are. Then she approaches us with a thoughtful expression. Is there anyone special to you? I mean, is there anyone you wish to dedicate or commission artifact to? You know what? Obviously, we're going to dedicate it to our beloved Theodesia, our wife and soulmate here, who is also a very skilled steward. So I think that this book shall be dedicated to her. There we go. Bonding over this shared journey, which is just pretty great here. Yeah, so our son, you know, we're getting along with our son. We actually have Apollonius here with us as well, it seems. So very good, bringing our sons along with us. We have observed a good omen. Excellent. A pilgrim puts down a votive doll before the altar, bowing her head. I see Agalina blessing her and muttering something holy in her ear. Please make my prized ring more pious. Indeed, our prized ring is becoming a very pious ring, considering that we keep getting it blessed every time we go on a pilgrimage here. So, the beating. Oh, what has happened to my son Ptolemy? He is all bruised and beaten, and he refuses to name who did this to him. Was it an older child? Now he has all but stopped talking and constantly hides when there's people around. We could give him the trait shy, but paranoid or craven. He is learning this diplomacy lifestyle. Shy is not a good trait for somebody who is taking a diplomacy route. Paranoid, though. You know what? I'm going to pick shy, though, because we are reclusive, so maybe he'll get over it. It's going to hinder his diplomacy a little bit, but I'm hoping that he'll overcome that. Perhaps we shall see. But we did get that reclusive trait, so I think it makes sense that we would get that kind of passing it down to our son a little bit. The markets of Vaticano are bustling with merchants, shouting in languages I've never heard and selling spices I've never tasted. The guide of the pilgrim, learn the safest routes, discover the marvels of Vaticano. One of them yells, waving a small book in my direction. Let me take a look. We can indeed get this here. So becomes more pious. We gain a local expert here, potentially. We preached the wrath of Zeus. Indeed, it seems we have. We have artifact lost. Huh? I didn't even know we had this thing here. All right. Well, in any case. As our time at this sacred site draws to an end, I am satisfied in knowing that most, if not all, of my decisions through our long and distinguished journey have been taken to prove my devotion to the Thunderer and to the Hellenic religion. This is my second pilgrimage. I can't help but compare it to my previous visit to Carthage in all its holiness. I'm also thrilled by the notion of having visited a new holy site. Roma, it has been an honor. And there we go. We now have a huge bonus of piety here. We gain some experience pilgrim trait. There we go. So that's even better. We become the owner of the finger here, which maybe we have, maybe we don't. And because our faith has the ancestor worship tenet, we also gain in the footsteps of my forebears here. So close family opinion has been increased. Finish the pilgrimage there. That is pretty good indeed. So we are going to return home. You'll see that we are pretty close to the religious icon here. If we can do one more pilgrimage, then we will probably be able to get that. We are not going to investigate the derelict ship. I think we've had enough trouble on the seas already. We are going to pick, however, a new lifestyle perk, and that is going to be centralization. There we go. That's going to increase our development here in our capital, which we wish to develop into the greatest city on this side of the Mediterranean. Inspiration, Fickle Philip. I bump into a very grave-looking Adeline, my writer, hoping that she doesn't bring ill news of the splendid book. Oh, there you are, my liege. I have hit a wall in my work. Nothing major. My ideas have gone to ground as the pressure mounts, she laughs nervously. I just need some inspiration. Mighty Despot, might you have some prior examples I could examine? I know what you need. I have just the tonic here. Let's see. You know what? I think that we shall prepare her a tonic. We are a wise man. So perhaps, and her muse returns. The book Inspiration gains some progress. So here you can see that we are returning home back to Alexandria after our pilgrimage, and to whatever comes from that, we shall have to see. in the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching.